Welcome to the 35th episode of the It's Been Said podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Remy, Executive Director of SAI. On this show, we dive into conversations about leadership, all in support of SAI's mission to encourage, develop, and empower Iowa's educational leaders and learners. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Dana Schon, SAI's Director of Professional Learning. Dana and I will introduce the new Superintendent Collaborative Professional Learning opportunity and share how it can help school leaders grow and connect. Thanks so much for joining me today, Dana.
Lisa, thanks for the opportunity. As you know, I am very excited about this new opportunity we have for our superintendents.
Yeah, I always enjoy being able to plan with you and I'm really excited about this. So let's share the news.
Yes, our members may have seen some recent promos that we have done, and now we get to discuss it in detail. The Superintendent Collaborative.
Yes, it is a step away from our old executive leaders format, people might remember, and into something that we think is going to be more interactive, I'd say, relevant, and potentially even more energizing.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start, Lisa. How exactly is this different from the old executive leaders model?
Well, great question. I think the old executive leaders model really focused more on that advocacy, advocating for public education, and of course, networking with their peers. But this collaborative is really more about learning together, tackling the real problems that we know superintendents are facing today. And of course, that networking piece, it's always important as we bring our members together that they grow their professional network. It'll be, I believe, more hands-on and something that they'll be able to take and apply right away when they're back in their districts.
Yeah, and it's not as though we're letting go completely of the advocacy. It's really, I think, a shifting of the spotlight, and I think that's really exciting. And that transferability piece is also really critical. And we've got a theme for our first year: civic leadership in the superintendency, leading through change. Tell our listeners, Lisa, why did we land on that particular theme?
Well, let's be real. Leading a district right now means really navigating shifting politics. We have changing expectations, whether that's from our parents, staff, legislators in Iowa, and the community dynamics are really complex. So we were really thinking and wanted to land on a theme that hits all of those challenges head on and equips our leaders not just to survive them, but to shape them so that they can lead differently and have it just lead better, right? It's just to feel better about the work and not feel that heavy stress that comes with some of those challenges that our leaders are facing.
Yeah, and we focus on this idea of shared leadership, like you just mentioned, we're sharing the challenge of leadership together. So what is the shared leadership and collective improvement? Not new. What do they actually look like in practice?
Yeah, so it really means you're not that lone leader at the top. We know sometimes that superintendent position can feel pretty lonely. It's really about you as that superintendent mobilizing those around you to help you with that work, your board, your administrative team, staff, your community, all mobilized around a shared vision and moving that shared vision forward. It's also about creating those conditions where improvement isn't just the superintendent's responsibility, but it's everyone's responsibility.
Yeah, Lisa, you mentioned a couple of these. We're zeroing in on really critical topics and aspects of leadership like visioning, resource mapping, mobilizing others. Why these aspects of leadership and why now?
Well, because I really think those are the tools that are going to help you turn those ideas that you have into real change. For example, resource mapping isn't just this abstract exercise, but it's about figuring out who in your community can help you, who might need convincing, and also where some hidden resistance might be. It's leadership with a strategy.
Yeah, and you know what I'm really excited about, Lisa, is it's a 5-part series. So we're not trying to overload all of this content, information, tools, strategies, and skills into a day or two and hope it sticks. We are intentional about spreading this out of the course of the year so that we have opportunity to digest, apply, process, get some more information, digest, apply, process. And I love that for our leaders.
Yeah, exactly. We always talk with leaders about not this one sit and get type opportunities for their staff. So these sessions will build upon each other. They'll do exactly what you were just talking about. It'll give participants time to apply what they're learning in their districts, come back, talk about it with each other, share, possibly refine the approach as they're learning from each other in those sessions. It's really that learn, try, reflect, and repeat, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and talk to us about who we have in mind to lead our first day.
So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's incredible that we are bringing in Dr. Jennifer Perry Cheatham to help us kick things off.
She is fantastic. Jennifer is a national leader in system change. She's a senior lecturer on education at Harvard Graduate School of Education, and she'll be here in October, a full day helping us set the stage for the year and giving our leaders, our superintendents, a framework that they will be able to use not only this year, throughout the year, but well beyond that too. In fact, I'm so excited because she is here to join our conversation.
Happy to
We
be here, Dana.
Dr. Cheatham, what makes you so passionate about this topic of civic leadership in the superintendency?
I mean, there is so much. It is the thing that I'm obsessed with these days, Dana. I think there are a few reasons. One, as a former superintendent, I knew that I needed to be a strong instructional leader in order to know what to work on. I needed to be an excellent managerial leader to kind of garner and organize the resources, right, to put a strategy into action, but that I would fail if I weren't an astute political leader, capable of navigating a complex landscape. And that was a while ago. I mean, now I'm increasingly passionate about it because things have become even more complex than they were 10, 20, plus years ago when many of us got going in this profession. And those political leadership skills have become even more important.
The role really has shifted in so many ways, and I know you speak not only to political shifts, but change in general.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so much has changed. I mean, I left the superintendency just before the pandemic hit. I mean, I was devastated to have left my community not knowing, all that was about to happen. But since then, I mean, so much has changed. I mean, the challenges have become steeper, academic challenges, enrollment challenges, um, uh, resource challenges, et cetera, et cetera. But the political dynamics around education, right, has put teaching and learning at the center of the political fray. And these days, public education itself is at great risk. And the role of a trusted local leader like a superintendent, right? I mean, we may very well be depending on superintendents to find our way through this to another era that hopefully centers again the importance of public education in America.
I've been fortunate to see and read some of your work, and I know that you have just a plethora of applicable, resonant, relevant strategies. And when I think about those, it begs the question, what would compel incredibly busy leaders like our Iowa superintendents to press pause on all of the things competing for their time and attention in the district to attend and engage in this day of learning with you on October 16th?
Well, Dana, I think, I mean, it used to be that I think that what we had, I know for me, I'll speak for myself, that I prided myself on not going to events like these, on right, staying back at the office, committed to doing the work. And I've come to realize that you cannot actually be effective in this climate without community, right? Without safe spaces to learn. And specifically to learn about this very unique role, that the superintendent plays. I think in the day of learning that we'll have together, we're going to kind of wrestle to the ground some, in really specific ways, the skills, knowledge, and dispositions that we need to hone in order to be effective. Right? But again, unique to our particular roles. I hope that that'll make it worth it for everyone. And of course, you'll continue to have ongoing learning on this subject, which will make it even more meaningful.
Yeah, I really appreciate you using that word community. As we've re-envisioned our superintendent's group, we are really focused on a collaborative, the superintendent's collaborative. And inherent in that is this sense of community, this sense of networking and learning and growing together. And yes, we will have opportunity to carry that through the rest of the year through virtual engagements where our leaders will have a chance to talk about some of the things that they have learned and applied after having been with you on October 16th.
That's excellent. I mean, and that is some of what we're learning through our research is that superintendents in particular, I mean, really every adult in every role, but superintendents in particular need safe spaces to work on problems of practice, and especially these very knotty, like KNOTTY, knotty political problems of practice. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, we are so excited. It's moments like these that not that I want to wish time away, but I think, oh my gosh, I wish it were October 16th, or I wish you were here now to help support our work so we could kick off our school year. So really excited to have you joining us. Thank you. Thank you for taking time today to provide some insight about the kind of experience we are creating for our leaders on October 16th.
Well, I'm honored and excited. I can't wait for it to happen.
Now, we're also going to be using something called the Superintendent's Political Leadership Fieldbook. Tell me a little bit more about that, Dana.
Yeah, Lisa, it's a fantastic resource. It's comprised of 5 key practices. We've mentioned a couple of them already: visioning, communicating, resource mapping, relationship building, and mobilizing. And we will be delving into each of these more deeply over the course of our time together this year. In fact, let's take a moment to talk about one of the proactive practices, just to give our listeners a sense of what this is all about. Lisa, when you think of those proactive practices, resource mapping in particular, how do you see our superintendents actually using that?
Ah, great question. So let's say you have a controversial facilities plan coming up. And so resource mapping can help you figure out who your allies are related to that plan, where the influence lies, and then who you might need to win over before that vote happens. So it's really being proactive versus reactive and really trying to be strategic about where you might need to spend your time, you know, just providing information because those are already, people that you have know that you're going to support that vote, or where you may need to give more details to a certain group of people so that they can really understand why the project is important and make sure that they get out and vote that yes. So it's really being that proactive leader.
Yeah, as you're talking about that, I'm thinking about the intentionality behind that. And I really appreciate that when I think about, sometimes we're connected to our same community groups and we think we have a sense of where our resources are. And this tool may even help some of our leaders identify resources that they hadn't considered yet before, which could be helpful in advancing the change that they want to make in their districts.
Yeah, absolutely. One example that I think about in my previous time as a superintendent is, that community that of people who still live within your community but do not have kids in school, yet are voters. And sometimes that's a group that's easy to forget about, but yet important in a situation like the example of a facilities plan and a vote needed to get a bond or something passed. to engage them. And so really being thoughtful and strategic about how do you engage them and get them information, because it's going to them versus expecting them to go find that information.
Yeah, that's a great example, Lisa. So if someone joins and fully commits to our year-long experience, what will success look like for them?
Well, I think it looks like a superintendent who's more confident navigating the political side of the job. We all know there's the political side of the job, has stronger community relationships, and feels less isolated in the work because they've got a trusted network to lean on to problem
Yeah,
solve.
you're really circling back to one of our key functions for our group, and that is a collaborative. It's that network that's focused on meaningful work and skill development, leadership development, specific to the work of the superintendent.
Yeah, and for me, one of the biggest wins is that peer-to-peer learning, hearing how other superintendents are solving problems that look like your problems, may not be exactly the same, but being able to learn from each other. And I just know how I benefited from that in years past, and I think this is just going to be a big win for our superintendents.
Exactly. You're not just hearing theory, and you know I love research, but you're hearing, here's what I tried, here's what worked, here's what I do differently. I mean, that's really invaluable. So Lisa, if someone's listening right now and thinking, do I have time for this? What would you say?
Well, first off, how do you not have time for this, right? Because it's going to save you time in the long run. But I'd say it's one of the best investments you can make for your own leadership. Challenges aren't getting any simpler. Uh, it's important to know that you don't have to face them alone as a superintendent. And this collaborative, it's a big word for me, gives you both the skills and the support to lead with confidence and I think with greater impact.
Yeah, I love that. And beyond the professional side, I really hope people walk away from this year feeling more connected to their peers, recharged, and equipped to make an even greater impact than they already are.
Absolutely. So, if you're ready to lead through change and do it alongside a group of your colleagues, join us for the Superintendent Collaborative. We can't wait to get started.
It's going to be a great year.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode on the Superintendent Collaborative. If you'd like to register, just visit sai-iowa.org. Click on the Events tab and select Superintendent Collaborative to find all the details on dates, times, and how to enroll. Until next time, stay well, lead with purpose, and remember, SAI is here to support you every step of the way.